Good evening. I'm Alex with Star Productions. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Noelle. Every business tries to be unique at the Bean. That means getting its food as local as possible.
And I'm James. Watch as we show you how this one small business comes from personal growth. The Bean may be the smallest coffee shop in DeKalb, but it still finds ways to stand out. Reopening in the spring after being closed for 4 years, owner and operator Aaron Clark has certainly made up for lost time.
You know, people will say to me a lot, well, I hope you make it. You know, I hope you make it. And I tell them, well, I already have. Stir it up, steer it up, little darling, steer it up, right? Oh, yeah.
But the coffee is not the only thing organic and all-natural at the stand. Clark started selling fresh vegetables from a family farm.
They've got a 40-acre veggie farm out there. They grow everything from, you know, sweet corn, habanero peppers, cabbage, whatever. You know, they grow all kinds of vegetables out there.
The vegan and vegetarian-friendly shop is just part of a growing trend in America. 5% of Americans claim to be vegetarian, while meat consumption has gone down 22%.
If you want to get vegetables downtown DeKalb, you can't go to Walgreens. Where are you going to go? What if you live down here? You're going to drive all the way to Walmart to get a couple tomatoes or something? You know, so it's really inconvenient for people that live downtown and in the area to get fresh produce, so I thought it'd be a good idea.
But now Clark is looking for another type of green. A GoFundMe page named The Dream and the Bean was made with a goal of $4,500 to put homemade crepes on the menu.
I want to do food. You know, I like that. I go into food. I've also worked in kitchens and restaurants doing food, so I'd like to branch out in 5 years to have more of a coffee cafe, coffee and food.
The Bean has been in DeKalb for 10 years, and according to Clark, it'll stay that way for a long time.
A lot of energy, things to do in DeKalb that I enjoy. Yes, and keep it in the community, or as I like to say, the corn unity. It's a corn joke.
From DeKalb, this is Star Production News.
Thanks, Star Productions. I'm Danny with Double MD Productions.
I'm Monet. Speaking of coffee and entertainment, the House Cafe tries to bring a unique sound as well as taste to the area.
And I'm Marquise. Joel Kennedy is the events planner in the House Cafe. Watch as he tells you how he blends music into the house's atmosphere.
It's a very diverse place that almost every day of the week, we have something every night of the week. Get to work with not only national artists, but artists here in DeKalb and the Northern Illinois area, a lot of really young, talented bands. I'm the booking manager here at the House Cafe, do all the events and all the shows. Been doing that for about 1.5 years. I'm a lifelong DeKalb native. Before that, I worked for a company called Kickstand Productions that would do national shows and things like that. And, being able to be one of the very few all-ages venues in this area, it's a place that a lot of them like to go to, and to be able to do that for them is really cool. But in addition, you also get to do stuff with some really big bands too, so it's a lot of fun. Go to different shows, work all the different shows here, listen to a lot of music, all different types, and try and find stuff that I think would work here. And I do also think for my job, it's all over the place. Like I, am my own street team, put together all the shows, set it up, work the shows the day of. So it's a pretty hectic thing, but it's a lot of fun. And as we do have a reputation. The house has been around for a long time. People are excited to come play here a lot of the time. It's just a matter of trying to have our schedule match up with their schedule. And a lot of times that can be hard. A lot of the stuff we do, like I said, we cater to a lot of DeKalb artists and a lot of people in the Northern Illinois area. We do get some big bands through here, but because it's a lot of smaller artists, a lot of them have their day jobs too. And I think that's honestly probably the biggest obstacle, is trying to find a night of the week that works for us, but also where they can come out here and their fans can come out here. Kickstand Productions is a national booking company that actually had their start here in DeKalb. The founder is a guy named John Ugolini, who was a Northern student about 10 years ago. And when he started to book shows, he needed a place to book shows, and the house was wanting to get into live music, and it was a very good fit. And being a lifelong DeKalb resident, I went to high school here and started to come to his shows and got to know him, and eventually got to work for him. All of our shows of all different genres do well. You know, and that's the nice thing. On one Friday night, we could have a jam band, like a Grateful Dead type band, and that could do 100-something people. And the very next night, we could do something completely different, like a metal band, and have that do the same thing. And all those people will routinely tell me that this place is one of their favorite places to go. So really, any crowd that we have, it's incredibly diverse, but it always seems to fit in really well here. Northern is such a huge part of DeKalb, and a lot of students during the summer, you know, will head home. But we've done lots of shows, especially with a lot of local bands that do really well. And over the summer, we're able to do about 1 or 2 national shows per month, and obviously those bring in a big crowd because it's, you know, nationally renowned artists. I had one agent double book a show and not tell me about it, so I had to kind of scramble over the next couple days to try and appease everyone. I've fought hard to get some national acts in here. We're a nice sized room, but there are places in Chicago that are a little bit bigger. You could fit some more people in there. So having to try and negotiate to get some of those bands in here can sometimes take a lot of time and effort. And even just some of the day of show stuff can be really hectic. You know, if you have a national act through here and 250 people show up, and it's me working the door, it's me trying to get all those 250 people in here as quickly as possible so they can enjoy the show that they paid for. Probably the biggest artist we've ever had here was actually just recently. It wasn't the full band, but it was a guy named Jim Atkins, who's the lead singer of the band Jimmy Eat World. He came and did an acoustic performance. And Jimmy Eat World is, you know, a very well-renowned band and one that was a favorite of a lot of the people that work here. So that was probably the biggest artist that we've had through here. Probably the most exciting too. It's a place that has something for everyone of all ages, whatever you're into. At some point, we'll always have something for you here that you will enjoy, in addition to great food and great beer and all of that.
Thanks, Double MD Productions. I'm Kabri with DDK Productions.
And I'm Destiny. The aroma of coffee or the aroma of incense can help someone de-stress.
And I'm Derek. At Herbal Embers, local products mean something besides food.
Herbal Embers is an herbal incense shop. We also offer many spirituality gifts and crafts, such as books and bracelets and jewelry and stones and crystals of all sorts. The products we offer, I'd like to think, would help bring like a peace of mind, a sense of calm, or whatever you wish to bring into the home. Well, the oils themselves are blends from our essential oil stock. The essential oil stock comes from the plants themselves. The plants have different oils and properties of those oils. We basically take those from the plants to the oils, and we blend them to the custom orders of the customers for whatever their needs may be, whether that be peace, calm, healing of various types, or just a scent that lifts them up, that makes them feel happy. The main focus is the herbs. I call it Herbal Embers because the herbal incense is where I started, and that's where I would like to keep my focus, because growing the plants is something that I enjoy doing, and I would love to bring to the people and to the community a sense of that same sense of wisdom and knowledge that I get from growing them myself. I'd like to share with others. I started home growing products because I found that the cost of shipping was going up. So I started growing it inside to see if I could provide my own and show people what the plant looks like when it's alive, when it's growing right here. It's more beneficial because it does give the people, your customers, more opportunity to be tactile about it. Instead of just like reading off some entry in the books, which they could probably Google just as easy, and get pictures of the plants, you have the plant there. Like being able to crush it in your hands and just kind of smell it fresh. That's something that no other store would really do if they're just bringing it in from various other places that it usually comes dried already. So you don't have that, you don't see what the plant looks like when it's actually growing. So day to day, I love just kind of making a mix of the day and burning it in the store, and letting people when they come in, letting them know what we're actually burning. There's always a risk when you're working with substances like plants. I mean, even plants. I mean, the plants, water, whatever you consume, you can cause issue. The essence of my incense is you have to burn it. And the nature of burning things is there's heat and fire involved. So there's always the potential that it can be abused or otherwise mishandled. So there's the risk there, but the plants themselves are considered generally safe. But there's always an exception. I think in the long term I would love to have a shop that actually had a full greenhouse with it, and to start actually just selling the plants themselves. I've just started to pique people's interest in actually buying the plants as well as the end process incense. So it'd be really cool to just keep that range going, and I would love to see this whole shop just expand and grow in that manner.
Thanks DDK Productions. I'm Doug with MJD News.
And I am Julia. In this digital age, things like homegrown and homemade have been making a comeback.
And I'm Morgan. At the Gaming Goat, you can find another throwback, board games and card games.
So I grew up in DeKalb. I lived here all my life. Actually just a few blocks away is my mom's house. And when I was 5, my dad died. He owned an important business here in DeKalb, a guitar store, that ended up being really popular and attracting a lot of famous musicians. It started across the street as just a guitar studio. When he died, it changed me, and I always looked up to him. And the Gaming Goat's the only game store I've ever worked for. I was kind of lucky. They came into DeKalb kind of out of nowhere at the beginning of last year in January, and so I came there. I was excited to have another game store to go to in the area. Yeah, I think my employees do need to have a passion, maybe not strictly for gaming, but a passion for serving people, you know, doing a job well, just for the sake of doing it well. When you have a family that comes in here and sometimes they're like, you can tell they're a little bit distant from each other. Maybe they don't hang out as much, or they come in, they're not really talking, or you sense something. But once you get them playing a game, like, all real-world tensions are dropped. We sell more board games than card games, but we do sell a good amount of card games. The board game market's pretty big, whereas anyone I do business with becomes a friend. Before I took over, she wasn't sure if it was going to work out, because I am just 20, I'm not proven yet. But she was also really confident in me the whole time I was growing up that I was going to be a great businessman. So she didn't know I was prepared yet, but we ended up going with it.
Thanks, MJD News. I'm Justin with WJP Channel 3.
And I'm Jakaro, staying with the games, but far from local, a NIU football player from a hometown in hockey country.
And I'm Paris. We asked Jerome Burkowski about his experience with football that led him into NIU from Canada.
My name is Juwan Breskison. I'm a 5th-year senior here at Northern Illinois. I play wide receiver. I grew up watching football. I was a big Randy Moss fan, which is why I wanted to play wide receiver. I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, which is kind of odd because it's America's team and I'm Canadian. But then I ended up going to a school in Indiana, and I started playing football. And I played wide receiver for 2 years, my junior and my senior year, and then I ended up getting a scholarship to Northern Illinois. When I first got the scholarship, it was like a weight was lifted off my shoulders. My motivation has always been my family. I've never been one to just think about myself. That's a good question, but I haven't really been homesick since I was in high school, because that was my first year I was away. So after high school and I came to college, you know, other guys were going through that, and I was fine because I was used to being away from home. The first time I touched the field, I was a redshirt freshman, and we were playing Buffalo at home. And I remember one of the receivers was tired, and he ran off the field, and I just ran in, and it ended up being a pass play, and the ball was coming to me, and I caught it, and it was a catch for like 12 yards. So that was my first game and my first catch, and it was just, the adrenaline rush was crazy. I can't even describe it. It's just a ritual. It's become a ritual, and everybody, before we run out, we touch the Husky, and you know, that's when we know it's game time. It never gets old winning a championship. I'd say one of the toughest ones was when we lost, because I had a good game, but you know, we lost, and we were in the championship game, but we didn't come out with what we wanted. So last year we got a rematch, and you know, we won, and I had a good game as well. So it was it was one of the best feelings I've had, and like I said, you never get tired of winning championships, and if you do, you shouldn't be playing sport. When it comes to wide receiver position, I can catch. I am not the fastest, but I can still run. You know, I'm a big body. You know, most of the DBs are small. So, I mean, you just have to use your qualities to your advantage, and I think that I have a fair shot at the NFL. You know, but a lot of it is like how blessed you are. You have to stay healthy, because you can't really control that. If you get hurt, you know, you're playing a physical sport, but if everything works out, I feel like I'd have a fair shot at the NFL. It was just a special moment because I had so much family there that I never have, and on top of that, we won. And I remember I just came out of the locker room, and my mom was crying because she was just so happy, and you know, she expected me to like be great as an athlete and as like a young man, but I don't think she really understood the magnitude of what it would be like. Like, I was playing at Ford Field where the Detroit Lions play, in front of a lot of fans, and you know, I could just tell that like she was proud that I was her son at that time, even though she's always proud of me. But you know, those tears of like joy, it was all worth it at that time.
Thanks, WJP Channel 3. I'm Merritt with JSO Media.
And I'm Whitney. With big TV stations like NBC, ABC, and CBS, sometimes we forget about our local stations.
And I'm Will. Jeff Bertel is a one-man band for the DeKalb County Government Access Channel. Watch as he explains what it gives to the community.
I run the City of DeKalb Government Access Cable Channel. What we do is, being a government access channel, we provide information to safety and information about community, government meetings and so forth. We differ from a public access station, and the difference is government access channels are not available to the general public. You can't rent out our facilities. We produce our own content. We also have pre-recorded content, such as the Illinois channel, which we get from the state of Illinois. It's a nonpartisan program. It's a 2-hour program. Talks about the political climate in the state. We also get pre-recorded content from other governmental agencies with information that we are able to play on government access channels. Yeah, the music that we play is all royalty. You can't just use any music when you're doing this because of rights that you have to play if you're a BMI or ASCAP member, which we are not. So we use royalty-free music. It's real simple how we do it. We have an iPad, which we download royalty-free music, background music, which is made for this type of situation. And that's what's played in the background of all our broadcasts. The focus is to keep producing better and better and more in-depth content for the channel. So now with the help of the NIU interns and their input for creativity, we're coming up with a lot of new programming and a lot of interesting things for people to tune in and watch. When you've worked by yourself with this for so long, it's a little hard to adapt, but I'm getting better at it now. And they understand that, and they tease me about it sometimes too. They're like, hey, let me do something. So, but it's pretty fast-paced, and you got to know what's going on, especially when I have to start calling out and directing to people that are maybe sitting in that chair. Interests and hobbies have changed over the years. I'm still very interested in music and playing the guitar and a lot lower key these days. As far as other interests, my family, just spending time with my family, because again, this job being, it's a 24/7 job. This channel runs 24/7, and it's my job to make sure that it's up and running 24/7. And it can take a lot of hours of your life from you. And at this point in my life, I'm really interested in still doing a great job here and excelling here, but spending more and more time with my family, time that I've missed in the past.